Okay. You know, emotions and the emotional side of our thinking have such a strong pull. And if we are thinking in an emotional state of mind, we're going to make the wrong decisions because we're not thinking clearly. Because when we think in an emotional way, it clouds our judgment. So we're not going to make the correct decisions that benefit us the most and will give us the best outcome. Now, if you think of a relationship, this is the typical type of thing. You could be in a relationship with someone, and for the first couple of years, it's great. You know, you're getting along, you're having fun, you're having laughter. It's all great. You don't really encounter any real problems. You might have minor little arguments and stuff, but no real problems. It's all great. But then there starts to be arguments, there starts to be disagreements, and as the guy, as the man, you start to be disrespected. Now, in this case, a lot of people will accept the disrespect and tolerate the disrespect because they have an emotional attachment to this person. So they just think, okay, if I just, whatever, put my head down, accept it, say whatever, try to ignore it, it'll go away and we can carry on being together. But in that case, that's not correct. If you're being disrespected, there's something wrong there. And if you're being consistently disrespected, if you say, you're free to do whatever you want, but I don't like when you do this. I feel disrespected when you do this. And then if they continue to do that, you have made it open and you have made it clear that you don't like this and you feel negative when they do this, and they've continued to do it. So they're continually choosing to disrespect you. Of course, as the man, you don't naturally have as many options as the woman because women are more beautiful than men, they look better than men. There are far more attractive women out there than there are men. So naturally, if you was with a woman and you loved her and you cared for her and you respected her and you broke up, you are going to be heartbroken about that and you're going to feel negative about that for much longer than she will. Naturally, because naturally when she comes out of the relationship, she will probably have people waiting for her to come out of the relationship, or just people who she knows and people that know her, that when they find out she's not in the relationship will instantly be interested in her again. Whereas the majority of the time as the guy, you don't have that. You have to just suck it up, get on with it, feel the negative emotion and deal with it. Now, of course, the emotion and feeling negative is obviously not ideal, but it has to happen. You have to have that. And I don't think it's a good way to live to be afraid of negative emotion and to be afraid of sadness and feeling down. I don't think it's a good way to live, being afraid of that. Because if you are afraid of these things, you're going to make decisions that you know aren't right for you, but it keeps this person around, it keeps this thing around, so you don't have to feel those negative emotions. In my opinion, that's why in a relationship when someone cheats, the other one stays with them. Because they just think, well, if I just accept this thing, at least we can still be together. Whereas they know if they broke up, if they said, no, that's not okay, and they broke up, they're going to feel overwhelming negative emotions and sadness from breaking up. So they would rather accept the disrespect and stay in the relationship than not tolerate the disrespect, but then have all the negative, sad emotion that comes with that. Now, this example and this thing of frame is having boundaries, having things you believe in and you stand for, and not breaking and not stepping away from them for anything or anyone. In the relationships I've been in, it's been very positive, and the relationship didn't really end for for a negative reason. It's just certain things happen and certain circumstances happen that neither of me or her didn't control and whatever. So I can't ever say I've experienced this type of thing of being disrespected all the time and just accepting it. But you can see it in people and you just think, why are you still with her? You know what? Why don't you just break up with her? Why are you still with her? Why are you still dealing with that? Why are you just accepting that situation? You know, I've heard stories from people who I know, but I'm not really friends with, but you see them on the odd occasion and you just get talking. And real negative stories where you just think, wow, you would be so much better off not accepting this disrespect and just ending the relationship. And of course you have the attachment, but just deal with that. Deal with the negative emotions that are going to come, because in the long run you won't have to deal with this disrespect all the time, because it'll be over, and the negative emotions, the sadness, the heartbreak, that will go in the long run anyway. So then you're going to be in a much better position. The real crucial decisions that need to be made of ending the relationship or just not being friends with this person anymore, and these real crucial decisions, what stops them from being made is the emotional way of thinking. So that is an example of the emotion clouding your judgment. You're not making the correct decision because you're thinking emotionally. But in those situations, the emotion, even though you feel it and even though it's there and even though it's strong and it has a strong pull, it's not important. Because you have to focus on the present and you have to focus on what the reality is. It doesn't matter how many good memories you have with that girl, how long you've been together, how much you love them, how much you care for them. None of that matters if you're constantly being disrespected. And as a whole, just in your life in general, as a man, it's important that we stand for something, we believe in something, we have boundaries, we have standards, we have things that cannot be broken, and if they do, you don't tolerate that no matter what. And this doesn't mean being aggressive, being loud, hating people. It just means having respect for yourself. Because if you don't stand for anything, and if you have no boundaries, you have no standards, you don't really have any values or beliefs, or you don't have anything that you really believe in, then you are easy to just be manipulated and to be disrespected, because where is the consequence of disrespecting you? If you have no boundaries and you have no standards and you have nothing you really believe in, there is no consequences to people disrespecting you, because you will still stay around, you'll still be there, lingering around them, hanging around them. So if people understand that they can constantly disrespect you and you will still be there the exact same, why should they choose to respect you? I know they should if they're a good person, but why should they? When they know they can just disrespect you and just, disregard you and you will still be there giving them the attention. Having a strong frame is just respecting yourself and putting your self-respect above all. Having things you stand for and things you won't tolerate no matter what. Because in life, if we don't stand for anything, we will just fall for everything. We will just be swayed and manipulated into situations we don't want to be in. And what type of life is that to live? A life where you have no real hard lines, no real boundaries of this isn't acceptable, I don't like it when you do this. And if you are constantly disrespected, just leaving. What type of life is it to live without those things, without any real backbone? When you see someone who respects themselves a lot, you can't help but respect them also. Because you know that their presence is a privilege, because they don't have to be there, they don't have to be around you, they aren't afraid to walk away. And that's what gives you power in these type of dynamics, a friendship, a relationship. When your partner or your friend knows you aren't afraid to not be with them. You still love them as a friend or in a relationship, you still love them, you still care for them, you still respect them, you still want to be around them. But they know you aren't afraid to walk away. That's what gives you your power in these type of dynamics. So that's why we need a masculine frame. Ultimate self-respect, not thinking in an emotional way that clouds your judgment. Ultimate self-respect, thinking logically, making the correct decisions. This is why we need a strong masculine frame. Thank you for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.